Hi and welcome back everyone. I hope you're doing great. Today we are in a slightly different location as my home, but I thought it would be cute, a little bit of a summer evening vibe going on. If it's a little bit windy or if you hear some voices in the background, that's because I am on a balcony. And yeah, without being said, let's talk about the books that I have read in June. It's not a lot, but a little bit. I have read 4 books and they are all a little bit different, but all very interesting in their own ways. The first book that I have actually started in May, but finished in June, is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. And it was my first big book that I've read. This book is about 4 college students and you're following them through their adulthood. Main focus is one of them, Jude, who had gone through a major trauma in his life. So we are kind of going with him through his and his loved ones' lives. I picked this book up because of TikTok and I've bought it a long time ago and I didn't read it for 2 years, I think. And now that I am reading my books that I have in my collection, I decided to give it a try and it was worth it. I read it, I think, in 2 weeks, maybe, which I think for 800 pages is quite quick. But this book had me in a grip. I could not put it away. I was thinking about the friends and their lives all the time. I have even talked with my boyfriend a lot of times about this book and about their problems and what they're going through. If it's too loud or something, I hope not, because I got myself a new microphone and I don't really know how to use it properly, but I still hope you can hear me good. Anyways, if you are interested in trauma and how it shapes one's identity or friendship dynamics, chosen family, the limits of it, love versus care versus dependency, and in general watching someone else's life, so to say, overall speaking, this book is a good pickup because the author goes very deep in those topics and sometimes maybe too deep, so please check for trigger warnings while reading this book. The characters in this book are very rich, are very thought through, which I think is very remarkable for such a big book, for such a long book. And even though we are following only one friend, so to speak, you are also going through the lives of the others and see why they are the way they are. And as I have written on my Goodreads review about this book, I am not very qualified on speaking on those heavy topics because they are very heavy. Still, I have an opinion on how the author made the characters feel. And for example, the one that goes through the traumas feels like he is never able to find peace and quiet and healing, which I found very irritating at times because I can see some people, well, I hope that some people that go through what he has gone through, finding some peace, especially if you have someone or some people in your life that love you and show you every day that you are worth living, worth loving, worth being you. This felt heavy. I cried on 3 occasions, I think, on 3 pages here. I have read that many other people cried throughout the book. I have felt strong emotions through the book, but not really that I was about to cry. I really don't want to give you too much away from this book. If you want to read it, I highly recommend it to you, but please do it with a big trigger warning. And yeah, maybe I will read something that I annotate without explaining it too much or at all. Lately, he had been wondering if codependence was such a bad thing. He took pleasure in his friendships and it didn't hurt anyone. So who cared if it was codependent or not? And anyway, how was a friendship any more codependent than a relationship? Why was it admirable when you were 27 but creepy when you were 37? Why wasn't friendship as good as a relationship? Why wasn't it even better? It was two people who remained together day after day, bound not by sex or physical attraction or money or children or property, but only by the shared agreement to keep going, the mutual dedication to a union that could never be codified. Friendship was witnessing another slow drip of misery and long bouts of boredom and occasional triumphs. It was feeling honored by the privilege of getting to be present for another person's most dismal moments and knowing that you could be dismal around him in return. Yeah, this was bad reading, but a very good moment in the book. Also, her writing is fascinating. Her writing was something that also kept me going. I'm sorry if I'm looking around, I'm very anxious and there are people all around me. But yeah, the next small read that I had was from Osamu Dazai, The Flowers of Buffoonery, I think. It's kind of a spin-off from No Longer Human. You're on the sanitarium where Yuzo is staying for a couple of days and his friends are visiting. It's nothing interesting, so to say, but what is interesting is, if you know more about Osamu, is that he is probably, I think, writing about himself. His style of writing is very interesting for someone who is writing in 1910, I think. He also speaks to the reader, which I found very funny at times. He doesn't have a filter, so to say, and he's funny because this book is kind of a reflection of how he never took things seriously and never spoke about serious things. I don't think you need to read it, only if you really enjoy his writing style. But otherwise, it's just... Do I have something that I found interesting here? Here, for example, he starts off by trying to describe a scenery, and then in the middle of it, he writes, "Never mind, I hate describing sceneries." And then he goes off. And this is who he is. In the beginning of a chapter, sometimes in the middle, sometimes at the end, he just puts his thoughts randomly into the text. I forgot to rate the books. I gave alittlelife, for example, I think 4.5 or 5 stars. I don't even know. I will write it down. This book I gave it a 3.5, only because I really enjoy his writing style. It made me want to know more about him. It made me read more books from Osamu, so this is why I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I have read, it's not this one. The next book that I have read in June, I actually don't have with me. It's the Before the Coffee Gets Cold from, I'm sorry, I don't know his name. Hoped I would like this book, but I didn't really enjoy it. It's 4 different stories, kind of intertwined together, about a small coffee shop in Tokyo where you can travel into time. It's not very science fictional as it may sound. It's really very modest. I just didn't really enjoy it. It made me really frustrated at times, especially after it clicked with me that this was a man writing and all of the characters were females. And he was describing very female related topics. Maybe he did his research, I don't know, but it was very... I don't know, it didn't sit right with me. Nevertheless, it was interesting at times, but it was repetitive, very repetitive, and you didn't really know why the author repeated himself so much. Only after you find out that this is actually a theater script. It was actually a theater play. So after the theater play, they put it in a novel. This was interesting to find out, but still made it not very enjoyable for me personally. One story that I actually quite enjoyed was the one with the sisters. The message maybe that I can say to you was from this book is that accept what happened, try to learn from what happened, and let it go. Don't obsess over it, don't break your spirit over it, because even if there were a possibility to change something, it will be impossible because it will change your entire life, and I don't think that everyone wants this. I think I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars, which is not a lot. And yeah, I don't even have it with me to read something to you from this book that I underlined. If you want to read this book, feel free, because it's very cozy and it could be a very good in-between reads, but I don't really recommend it. I also picked Before the Coffee Gets Cold because of social media, and yeah, I kind of regret it because there are a lot of amazing books out there, and in my opinion, this was not something for me. And this shows you how much I didn't give a second thought to the books that I bought. Those are the consequences that I have to live with. The next book that I've read in June is in German, actually, and in the English translation, I think it's The Last Stories, maybe. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. From Olga to Tokarczuk. Tokarczuk, maybe. It's a Polish writer, and I have heard about her. I also wanted more female writers to read from, and I bought it also in June and read it directly after I bought it. It's about 3 women, a mother, a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter. It's not about the story in this book. It's about, well, the stories were interesting for me personally, but her writing style is so amazing. I don't know if maybe I will translate something that I underlined here because it was really good, and I definitely will be reading more from her. I have audience right now. His name is Hugo, and he's enjoying himself right now. So if you hear something, this is him. The topics in this book are surrounding death, aging, the relationship we have with death, loneliness of a woman, and the pain that a woman lives through. Mostly enjoyed the second story about the grandmother. It was very relatable in my opinion. Even though she thinks she only sees details, I found her very open-minded, and even she could see the bigger picture in my opinion. She was not understood. She was lonely and left alone, and it was very relatable, especially then reading before her, reading about her daughter, and after reading about her granddaughter. Those are 3 different stories that don't have any context with each other, but they're very similar in the tone and the way the author brings those characters to you. Very melancholic, very dreamlike, and I really, really enjoyed this book, and I would definitely recommend it to you. It's very beautiful written. I will definitely read something to you. I will have to translate it first because it's in German. I bought this book because I have seen this author on Be Aware of Pity, and they didn't have the book that I wanted, so I bought this one instead, and I don't regret it a little bit. Okay, so here my favorite part from this book. I have a lot of them, but here's one of them. Being awake differs from sleep through the tension of thoughts, these immortal vibrating atoms of the world, these humming, trembling strings without beginning and end, projectiles speeding through the cosmos of the speed of light like seeds from extraterrestrials. They settle in heads and connect with one another through individual details, associations, analogies into endless chains. In truth, no one knows how they connect, what holds them together, what order prevails within them. And they themselves don't know either. They don't need a real order. They prefer to no order but to the appearance of order. Create short-lived, beautiful, logical configurations, fantastic snowflakes, inventing themselves into an imaginative process of cause, reason, and result, which, however, only confuse the head, scatter, shatter, tear it apart, and set it off track like a cycle, spiral, zigzag, or reverse, disappear, fade away, fall into a deep sleep and order, and suddenly explode and break off like an avalanche. One can, if lucky, catch a thought, grab it like the string of a kid. Let oneself be carried by it for a while or hold on to it. Examine it more closely and then set it aside to make room for other, even more twisted, instructive one. In waking, they reflect and order and deceive. Sleep frees them from the illusion. It's kind of hard reading it in English, but it was very beautiful written. I gave it initially 3 stars because I was confused that the story didn't have much sense. After a while, I saw the beauty of her writing style, and I will definitely recommend it also to my friends. Right now, though, I'm only reading one book because, I don't know, I kind of gotten away a little bit, and this is Franz Kafka, Die Verwandlung, and in English, Metamorphosis. I don't know how I feel about this book. I definitely enjoy his writing style, but we will see. I'm only this far, not far at all. Also, I am planning on reading Sense and Sensibility from Jane Austen this July. I have started it a while ago. I don't know even when, but I will definitely start it again, and then I will give you my review in July. But yeah, let me drink my tea because it's getting a little bit too cold. And I hope I didn't talk too much nonsense because I have this impression that I had. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and please let me know if you have read any of those books and how you are feeling about those. I hope we are going to see us very soon. Please stay safe. Thank you for watching. Bye.